Alright guys, so files and directories part 2. Before we go into this, I want to talk to you guys about jails and inmates. Okay, so this is my favorite Knoxville jail. It has 3 buildings, building A, building B, building C. Building A has Cherry, building B has Candy along with other people, and building C has Ron, John and Don. Okay, and we'll get back to these guys, but before that let's talk about the actors that they like. So John likes Brad Pitt while Don likes Johnny Depp. Okay, but while John says I like an actor, he is using actor to refer to Brad Pitt, while Don is using the same word but he is referring to Johnny Depp. Okay, so basically what that means is, if we treat actor as a container, actor can take any different values, like no matter how many numbers of actors. So in this case, Brad Pitt, Donald Trump, Johnny Depp, these guys are called constants. Okay, because like Brad Pitt cannot become Johnny Depp cannot become Brad Pitt, but they all are actors, and in this case the actor is a variable while Brad Pitt in this case is a value which is the constant value. Now taking the same analogy a little further, fruit is a variable while mango is the value. Alright, but you can call anything a fruit, right? If you are in your house and you have a potato sitting and you tell your wife this is a fruit, you guys are going to get into a fight, but you guys can call it a fruit. Same thing with beer. So you can call beer a fruit. Point being, you can put whatever value you want in the fruit if you own that fruit. I mean, like if it is something you own, you can call it whatever you want. So in this case, these 3 are your fruits, even though they are not fruits in reality, and these are once again called variables. And to illustrate this in Linux, I can say fruit is equal to mango. Now in this case, fruit becomes a variable while mango is its value, and there is a simple way to refer to a variable in Linux. Okay, and you just need to add a $sign in front of it. Better way to write this would be like this. So right now the value of fruit is mango. Now I'm going to make the value of fruit potato, and in this case the value of fruit is potato. Like, point being, the fruit is taking any value we want. Now next thing, now after this I'm going to say echo fruit. What should be the value displayed? Fruit. Because like right now when I say echo fruit, what that means is writing fruit without the dollar is just a regular word fruit, but when I precede it with a $sign, then in that case I am referring to a variable. And this can get a little confusing, so but as you use these more and more, it just becomes you don't even think about it. Alright, so now PWD represents your home directory. Well, not home directory, is the directory that you're working in, which in this case is your home directory. Now this home directory can be represented by a special variable called home, but when you are referring to it as a variable, you're going to use the $sign. Brackets are optional, it just makes for a better programming practice. Okay, so let's see what all we got. So I'm gonna go into videos and Linux training and nothing. Okay, so this is the path I am at. Okay, and now if I have to go back, I can just do this and go straight to my home folder. And you could have a very complicated path, like you could be 6 folders down and you're like, okay, I need to go home and access my, you could, like, in a lot of cases you would just have some special files in your home folder that you need access to immediately. So dollar home is equal to my home directory. Okay, now let's go in there again. Now I'm going to take one more directory, abc cd abc cd def. All right, no, it's not there yet. Okay, so now this Linux is so well thought out. Now this is something you'd be doing over and over, like way too many times. So when you say cd without any parameter, it is equivalent to cd $home. Okay, so cd with no parameter is equal to cd $home. All right, now another thing, if you pay attention to this command prompt, is changing every time we go in and out of folders, but it's not. If you say pwd, I want to get back in, I can just go into cd videos Linux training. Okay, so if you say pwd, it's showing this path, and this is what's supposed to show here, and that's precisely what it is. And just like the dot is equal to current directory, dot dot is equal to parent directory, the tilde refers to $home. Okay, so I can also do cd tilde and it would have the exact same effect. All right, the next one is slash, and that's your root directory. Okay, so when I say pwd, it starts with a slash. So this is the slash that we're talking about here, and everything starts there. Okay, so these are all the system folders which we don't worry about right now. Then inside that we have the home directory, and inside this we have folders for individual user. Okay guys, so we have the path, that whole path. Okay, now we can refer to this in multiple different ways. So now you guys know this is the home, and it can be represented using $home and videos and Linux training. Okay, then the other way would be tilde videos Linux training, and also when I'm in this folder, let's say I am inside music directory, okay, and I want to refer to the Linux training directory again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go cd dot dot slash videos slash Linux training. Okay, so when I'm inside the music directory, okay, and when I am in videos directory, just that. Okay, so in Linux we refer to this whole path starting with slash as the absolute path, while the rest of the paths, no matter what they begin with except for slash, are called the relative paths. So those definitions are kind of not important, but navigating like this and referring to files like this is something you need to be good at. And here I did it wrong, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay, next we're going to talk about the rm command for deleting files and folders. Right now we have two files and a folder. Now the way you remove a file is rm remove. Okay, and that file is gone. So now one thing about Linux, you don't have a recycle bin. So if you delete a file, it's gone, it's history. So be very careful with deleting files. Okay, so now let's try to remove the directory. So that didn't work, and it says ABC is a directory. So in that case, what we have to use is rmdir ABC. Now once again, that didn't work because there is a directory inside it. Okay, now I'm going to use the relative path to delete the directory inside ABC. That worked, and then when I do this, it's going to work just fine. All right, another way of doing the same thing, and I'm gonna do once again ABC and mkdir ABC / def. Cool. Okay, so now when it said that it could not delete that directory, we use rmdir ABC. Didn't work. The other option you have is rm-r, which would basically recursively delete that folder. Well, recursively delete all the contents of whatever you're trying to remove. Okay, let's do this again. So now I will show you guys one more option, and this comes very handy. So when I'm trying to create that ABCDEF, if I say mkdir ABCDEF, it's not going to work because there is no ABC. And so in this case, if I use -p flag, I can actually create multiple directories at the same time. Okay, so that's an awesome thing about mkdir -p, to create multiple files. And now same way I can create a file under that directory by using relative paths. And then I'm going to do yours. Okay guys, so tree is one way of doing this, but tree is not by default available, and it's sometimes not available at all. So the standard tool that you always have available is ls, and now ls takes that same -r flag to recursively display the contents of the file. The contents of a directory, it just has to be capital R. So it showed the top ABC and file system, then it showed inside ABC there is DEF, then inside ABC DEF there is hostel on yours, and then inside ABC DEF hostel my.txt, and this is what you would use almost always, because the tree command, if we go into the slash, this is not going to be of any help. So but in this case you can say ls minus r and just the logs directory. Well, it's not, it's way far inside, but I can say ls minus lr and then home, and it's going to give me all the contents of directories under home, and this is going to work every single time, so you're going to have to use it. I'm going to pause and complete these notes. Alright guys, next you have seen me use this ls minus l command quite often. So minus l, and what is doing is long listing. Okay, so now it has multiple components. First of all, it's giving you the count of files under like all the files under that directory. Second, the first column here has a combination of letters, then a number, then johneyaazad, again a number, and date. Okay, so the one thing here that is straightforward, that's the date. 4096 is the size of the file. We're going to skip these three and we're just going to focus on this guy for now. Okay, so when I'm listing, when I say ls minus l, the very first digit says D, and the D means it's a directory. Okay, so let's go inside linuxtraining. Okay, so now there is a directory here, and this dash means this is not a directory. Okay, so now the same thing you can find out using a command called file. So when I say file abc, it shows file abc is a directory. Okay, now the file system.mp4 is an empty file, and so it basically saying it's an empty file. I have no idea what it is, and this is the concept of not the extension. Basically, if you are on Windows and if it has .mp4 extension, it's a movie file, but here that mp4 does not mean anything. Okay, and now let's put something into random content to random.txt. Okay, so file random.txt, it has ASCII content. So basically in the same directory we found three types of files. One is directory, one is an empty file, and one is an ASCII file, but here it just shows D or dash. But we are working with Linux, so everything has a more efficient way of doing things. And now if you wanted to see the types of these, what types of files or folders these are, you can just use one character to refer to all of these files, and it's called a wildcard character. And the wildcard can be used anywhere you want to refer to. Basically, I do not care what's in that place. So let's create three files. Mango 123, mango disco, mango rod. All right, so we have three files here. So all of these files have mango in common. I'm going to take one more, mantle. Okay, and so if I wanted to list all the mango files, what I would do, ls mango, and this lists the 3 files that have mango at the beginning. All right, then the same way I can say ls minus l man star, and that's going to display just the files that have man, well, all the files that have man as a prefix, and we have one more file that satisfies that criterion. Okay, so same thing we can do the other way around, and we can say anything in the beginning but the last character needs to be T, and so we get these 2 files. Now again, same way we can ls minus l m star T, and there's only one file like that. If I have touch market and execute the same command, it's going to give me those 2 files. Alright guys, another the same lines, you can use one more wildcard, and that's a question mark, and the question mark refers to one character, and you would use this very rarely. The way that would work is question mark ARKET, and it's going to show you that particular file. So it's now the same thing with 3 characters instead of mango, well, man or MA 1 2 3 4. When we say this, it's going to give you only the words which are 6 characters long, which start with MA. Okay, so ls minus l. Okay, so now we have 3 directories and 2 files. Okay, now they are all created at different times, and let's say you want to sort the contents by time. For that, you use ls minus t. Actually, let me use one of my folders, like actual folders. Okay, so I have way too much stuff here. Okay, so all of these have different dates, and right now there is no rhyme and reason, like no, what do you call it, no structure to this. But when I say ls minus lt, it's going to sort all these based on time. Okay, so Jan 6, all these files created, this all goes to May 3rd, and now this same output I can get in the reverse direction by using the reverse flag. So now the 2000 file, instead of at the top, I'm seeing it at the very bottom. And this combination, once again, you're going to use very often, because you would be in a directory. So you are in here, and typically the varlog file, the varlog directory contains a lot of files, and when you're trying to debug problems, you want to look at the most recent file always. So when you say ls minus l, you're not going to go through this whole listing. You're just going to say ls minus ltr, because this is a simple situation still, but you could be looking at a directory with like 200 files in it, and this way you can just hit that directory in a second. Alright guys, this has gotten, like, I still have a lot more to cover, but this has gotten way too long for one video. So I'm gonna pause here, and then we'll start right from here in the next video. Thank you guys.